What drives the most compassionate, idealistic personality type, the INFJ, to cut ties with the ones they love most? Is it betrayal? Selfishness? Or is there something deeper, something unseen tearing them apart? Today we're peeling back the layers of the INFJ's heart. Buckle up. This isn't just a story. It's a revelation. 1. The INFJ paradox. Empaths who build walls. NFJs are walking contradictions. They crave deep, meaningful connections but often end up feeling suffocated in environments where love feels conditional or superficial. Imagine spending your life being the family's emotional sponge, listening to everyone's problems, calming conflicts, and offering advice, only to realize no one truly understands your needs. For INFJs, family isn't just about sharing DNA. It's about sharing values, respect, and a sense of belonging. When that connection is missing, the emotional toll becomes unbearable. They don't leave because they want to, they leave because staying feels like drowning. Picture a person who gives endless love but receives crumbs in return. Over time, the INFJ's heart grows heavy, and the walls go up, not to punish others but to protect what's left of their sanity. 2. The breaking point, when emotional labor becomes exploitation. You've probably heard of that INFJ door slam. It's not a tantrum or a petty reaction, it's a survival tactic. Think of it like this: INFJs are natural caregivers. They'll spend years absorbing their mom's anxiety, their dad's criticism, and their siblings' drama, all while burying their own feelings. But there's a limit. One day they wake up exhausted, realizing they've become the family's unpaid therapist, punching bag, and peacekeeper. No one asks, "How are you doing?" Instead, the demands keep coming. Fix this, listen to that, why can't you just be normal? The INFJ finally snaps. Walking away isn't about cruelty, it's about escaping a life where their kindness is exploited. They're not ghosting their family, they're saving themselves. 3 values collide. The INFJ's moral compass versus family tradition. INFJs would rather eat glass than betray their principles. Imagine growing up in a family that mocks your beliefs. Say they dismiss social justice, ridicule spirituality, or gossip relentlessly. Every family dinner becomes a minefield. The INFJ's inner voice screams, "This isn't right," but speaking up risks rejection. So they bite their tongue, smiling through conversations that feel like poison. Over time, the hypocrisy eats at their soul. Staying silent feels like lying. Speaking up feels like starting a war. Eventually they choose peace, not with their family but within themselves. Leaving isn't rebellion, it's refusing to live a lie. 4. The black sheep syndrome, when being too sensitive is a crime. Why are you so emotional? Can't you take a joke? NFJs hear these phrases like a broken record. Their sensitivity, their greatest strength, is treated as a flaw. In families that value toughness over tenderness, the INFJ's empathy is seen as weakness. They're told to lighten up when they're hurt, or to stop overreacting when they set boundaries. Over years, these subtle digs chip away at their self-esteem. They start to believe something's wrong with them. But one day they realize, the problem isn't their heart, it's the environment crushing it. So they walk away not because they're weak, but because they're finally strong enough to choose self-respect. 5. Gaslighting and guilt, the INFJ's kryptonite. NFJs are magnets for guilt. Manipulative family members know this. They'll say things like, "After all we've done for you," or "You're tearing this family apart." The INFJ's mind becomes a battlefield. Am I selfish? Am I crazy? Gaslighting twists their reality until they doubt their own feelings. For example, if the INFJ confronts a toxic parent, they're told, "You're too sensitive, it was just a joke." Over time they stop trusting their instincts. Walking away isn't defiance. It's breaking free from a lifetime of being told their pain isn't real. It's choosing to believe in their own truth. 6. The loneliness of being misunderstood. NFJs don't fit into boxes. They're the poets in a family of engineers, the dreamers at a table of pragmatists. At gatherings, they smile through conversations about jobs and money while dying to discuss philosophy or art. Their jokes fall flat. Their passions are met with blank stares. The loneliness isn't just about being different, it's about feeling invisible. Imagine laughing at a joke no one else gets, or crying over a song everyone else ignores. Over time, the INFJ stops sharing pieces of themselves. Leaving isn't about hating their family, it's about finding a space where their soul doesn't feel like a misfit. 7. When family mirrors toxic patterns, INFJs have a radar for dysfunction. Alcoholic parents? A narcissistic sibling? Golden child favoritism? They see it all. For years they hope things will change. They drop hints, offer support, or even beg their family to get help. But when the response is, "We're fine, you're the problem," the INFJ faces a choice: stay stuck in denial or break the cycle. Walking away isn't giving up. It's refusing to let toxicity become their legacy. They'd rather stand alone than kneel in a broken system. 8. The fear of becoming what they hate. INFJs are terrified of repeating generational trauma. Say their father's temper destroyed their childhood, or their mother's passive aggression left scars. The INFJ would rather cut off a limb than pass that pain to their own kids. Staying in the family means risking infection, adopting the same behaviors they despise. Leaving is a radical act of love, not just for themselves but for future generations. It's saying, "This ends with me." 9. The crushing weight of unspoken expectations. INFJs are mind readers cursed with perfectionism. They know mom wanted them to be a doctor, not a musician. Dad drops hints about grandkids every holiday. Every achievement is met with, "That's nice, but when will you settle down?" The pressure isn't just annoying, it's soul-crushing. The INFJ feels like a puppet, dancing to a tune they never chose. Leaving isn't about ingratitude, it's about reclaiming their right to live authentically. 10. The final straw, when love feels like a cage. INFJs would die for their families. But living for them? That's the trap. They're praised for their selflessness until their own dreams wither. They become the reliable one, the fixer, until they forget who they are outside that role. One day they look in the mirror and see a stranger. The walkaway isn't impulsive, it's the result of 1,000 tiny cuts. They don't leave to hurt anyone, they leave to remember how to breathe. 11. The aftermath, INFJ guilt versus relief. After leaving, INFJs don't celebrate. They grieve. Guilt whispers, "You abandoned them," while relief sighs, "You're finally free." They mourn the family they wished for, the one that saw, heard, and loved them unconditionally. But slowly they rebuild. They discover hobbies, friendships, and passions that were suffocated before. The road is lonely, but it's honest. For the first time, they belong to themselves. 12. Can bridges be rebuilt? The INFJ's dilemma. INFJs aren't heartless. They'll consider reconciliation, if the family admits fault, goes to therapy, or changes toxic habits. But most families double down, "You're too sensitive. Get over it." So the INFJ keeps walking. They'd rather have no family than one that disrespects their soul. Some bridges aren't meant to be crossed twice. Conclusion. INFJs don't leave families out of spite. They leave to save the one thing they've neglected for years, themselves. It's a tragedy, yes, but also a testament to their courage. Because sometimes walking away isn't the end. It's the first step toward a life that finally fits.